Good evening. Welcome to Thai PBS English News Service. I'm Supajang Klinswan. While the controversial rice pledging scheme remains the talk of the town, tomorrow's front pages will likely be filled with news of prices of chicken eggs. That and more with Kun Bundit Bundit in Economic Focus.
Thank you, Kun Supaton. Before we move on to the eggs issue, the cabinet has approved a budget of 240 billion baht for a new round of rice pledging for the 2012-2013 harvest, which officially started yesterday. The Commerce Ministry's initial proposal was 405 billion baht. Meanwhile, the Constitution Court has rejected an anti-rice pledging petition signed by academics on the grounds that the detail in the document lacked clarity. In response, the petitioner stated that they will provide the Charter Court with additional documentation in the next couple of days. Academics from the National Institute of Development Administration, or NIDA, confirmed their intention to submit additional documentation to the Constitution Court in the next 1 to 2 days, after a spokesperson for the court announced that the academics' anti-rice pledging suit does not meet the court's requirements. The group of academics insisted that they will not amend the topic of their protest, as they firmly believe that the government's ongoing rice pledging policy is a breach of Article 84, Bracket 1 of the Constitution. This article stipulates that the government must support a free and fair trading market through free market mechanisms and must not engage in activities that would otherwise be deemed as competing against the private sector. In the event that the Charter Court does not accept the group's petition, the academics said they will not seek any other court's ruling, but will instead attempt to create an understanding of the issue among the public. Those who are directly affected by the pledging scheme might form a group of their own and launch a complaint with the administration court. Amidst mounting opposition, the cabinet is pressing ahead with its signature policy, with today's approval of a 240 billion baht budget for the pledging of 15 million tons of main crop in a new round of rice pledging for 2012-2013 harvest. The scheme officially began yesterday and will last through September the 16th of next year. The Commerce Ministry's initial proposal was 405 billion baht, which was intended for pledging 15 million tons of main crop and 11 million tons of second crop. However, for now, the cabinet only approved the budget for the pledging of main crop and will review the funding for the second crop later on in the year. Of the 240 billion baht, the Finance Ministry is to borrow 140 billion, while the remaining 90 billion baht will be generated by the government sale of its rice stockpile. While academics are generally not in favor of the government's rice pledging prices, which are significantly above the market rates, a group of small-scale egg farmers filed a petition with the Prime Minister today, urging the government to solve the problem of low egg prices by supporting the farm price at 2 baht 80 satang per egg. Around 600 disgruntled egg farmers from Suphanburi, Singburi, Rayong, and Lopburi provinces rallied near the government house today, seeking the government's help with low egg prices. Over the past 9 months, the group of egg farmers have had to sell their production below cost. They are urging that the government monitors egg prices and sets a suggested farm price at no less than 2 baht 80 satang per egg. Representatives of an association of small hen breeding farmers said that the production cost of one egg stands at 2 baht 60 satang, while the suggested farm price specified by the Internal Trade Department is 2 baht 40 satang. As a result, farmers are suffering a loss of 20 satang per egg. The association is also asking the government to ensure that the importation of laying chickens will not affect market prices of eggs, and proposed that the government sets a suggested price that stays in line with the farmers' actual costs by reviewing the price every month. The House Committee on Constitutional Organization Affairs, State Enterprises, Public Organizations and Fund is requesting that the Energy Ministry resolve the problem of overpriced permits for the construction of solar energy plants being sold on by their original purchasers at steeply increased prices. The committee is also urging the ministry to create clear legislation on the development of solar energy, while the energy regulator is threatening to revoke licenses of those not honoring their contracts. Amnoy Siri Thongsuk, an academic who sits on the House Committee, said that he has received complaints from some private sector operators that the investment in solar energy has come to a halt, as the legislation on solar energy development is unclear And some permit holders who are not actually using their permits are attempting to profit from genuine developers and investors by selling off their rights at prices as high as 12 million baht per megawatt. Less than 10% of those given concessions to produce solar power are actually using their licenses to generate electricity. The rest are holding on to their documents to profit via resale. Manat Nitikun, an advisor to the Power Utah Group company, revealed that the high number of companies that are not using their quotas, coupled with a shortage of electrical transmission lines, makes the development of new investments hard to achieve. Additionally, the reduction in the subsidy for electricity procurement from 8 baht down to 5 baht 94 satang is making the investment less attractive. Samerchai Suksumek, Deputy Director of the Energy Policy and Planning Office, now says that investors' permits will be confiscated if they're not producing and selling electricity in line with the contract. The confiscated permits will then be reissued under the Alternative Energy Plan, which is to buy a total of 2,000 megawatts of solar source power over the next 10 years. And that wraps up Economic Focus. We will now return to Kun Supaton for the rest of tonight's news.